Hey guys, and welcome to another brand new video. In this video, we have a little bit of a slightly different video going on the channel itself, and this is in regards to a brand new outbreak that's kind of been happening all throughout the world. Now, I've been kind of slowly starting to see this kind of like uptick more and more and more. I saw some things on TikTok, I saw it actually trending up on Twitter, I've seen a few different news articles, and I've also even had a few people kind of just be kind of curious on what this actually is, what's going on with this and all this type of stuff. And this is in regards to something called monkeypox, which is kind of in the same vein of, well, not another fun kind of viral disease going on and kind of being spread out all throughout the world, and it's never fun to go and talk about. But like I said, I actually had quite a few I don't even know why, of people asking me, of all people. I have literally no idea why, but like I said, I've seen some people kind of concerned, I've seen some apprehensions, and I kind of found like a kind of a cool article to kind of go through and kind of talk about with it in regards to like, should you be worried? Like, should we be like generally worried? Is this going to be like a COVID like round 2 and all that type of stuff? So fingers crossed that literally none of us have to go and deal with this one, because I don't think a lot of us can go and deal with going through another life-changing, once-in-a-lifetime bad opportunity, as we have the stock market already crashing, we have the pandemic still kind of technically still ongoing, and just everything else falling apart. So let's go talk about this. Let's do a little deep dive. I know my channel is usually more on the restock stuff as well, but like I said, for some odd reason I've had people ask me about this, so might as well make a video on it. And as well, if you guys are brand new, make sure you guys are subscribed with the notifications on. As well, we also are giving out a PS5, kind of a really weird crossover for this, but if you guys want to subscribe for it, that's all you have to do to be entered in to win it. We have the Twitter and Twitch stream down below too as well, in case you guys care about that. So we've been seeing this, and so far I do want to say I think most of the news that we've actually had a chance to see is kind of relatively good. Now, while there has been a few outbreaks and a few cases with it, we really haven't been seeing too much in terms of the spreading. We also haven't really seen too much in terms of the mutations, and as well, we also haven't really been seeing too much in the cases overall. Although we've had a little bit of a big pandemic stuff going on still in China, as you guys may or may not know. They've had like even more rolling lockdowns and such. So I want to go talk about this because we actually have an article over here from NPR discussing the rare monkeypox outbreak in the UK, Europe, and the United States, what it is, and why basically should we go and worry. So I do want to go preemptively say this, kind of like, because I don't know, I don't think people really like hearing like scary news or weird news, or especially from a channel like me, it kind of seems like a weird video. But when it comes to this type of stuff, so far everything we've had a chance to see is nothing you have to worry about. It seems like the transmission rates are very, very low. In terms of infection rates are really, really low, and in terms of also the cases that have been being spread around are also on the very milder case. So kind of think of like more of just like, you know, the very, very lax type of like coronavirus type pandemic side. Not where it's not like, you know, really hardcore or anything bad, kind of bad. But basically, let's go talk about it. So with this one too as well, there's basically a monkeypox outbreak in the United Kingdom, Portugal, Spain, and other European countries. And thankfully, the outbreak is small, and so far it's only been 80 cases or so, including 9 in England, 17 in Canada, and 23 in Spain. There's also been a few reported cases in Portugal, Sweden, and Italy, and France. As well, we also had a few cases, too, in the United States. The health officials have little clue, though, on where these people are getting this monkeypox virus, and there's basically concerns the virus may be spreading through the community, undetected, and possibly through a new route of transmission. So that by itself is always a little bit on the scarier side. But of course, when it comes to a lot of articles and basically these types of things, they sometimes do push a little bit more on the extreme side. So it's not like you guys should be stressing as of yet, but I think it's maybe one of those things to kind of maybe be in the back burner of your thought process, just in case it gets a little worse, or just in case there's something else tied on it. But as of right now, you guys can kind of see the early case spread, and like I've said, I've had people worried about this. I've seen people even on my timeline tweeting about this. I don't think it's as bad as we expect as of right this second. So like, if you guys have a nice breath of release, you know, kind of like don't have to be too stressed about it. So like I said, the outbreak is rare and unusual. Endobiologist, whatever the heck it is, Susan Hopkins, who's the chief medical advisor of the UK Health Security Agency, has basically said in a statement, exactly where and how the people acquire their infections remains under urgent investigation, the agency said in the statement. Monkeypox can be a nasty illness. It causes fever, body aches, and large lymph nodes, and eventually pox or painful fluid-filled blisters on the face, hands, and feet. One version of monkeypox is quite deadly and can kill up to 10% of people infected. But actually, the current version right now is very mild, and its only fatality rate was lower than 1%, and it usually is resulted in 2 to 4 weeks. So then alone off of that one, this should be like no need to worry, no big stresses, and this is kind of why like you guys should always take a breather. Especially, I feel like this like preemptively, we can kind of see, like, it's kind of almost why I'm making a video right now. It kind of seems like this is going to be the next kind of big thing in the news, because like I've said, I've seen it trending on Twitter, I've seen it trending on TikTok, I've had like a few news articles already coming up with it, so I feel like this is going to be in the news a lot more throughout these next few weeks. It kind of seems like that's how the media usually is nowadays, so I'm just kind of preemptively talking about it and kind of, I guess, preemptively calming you guys on down. Now, of course, it always could potentially get worse, and hopefully not, but like I do think as of right now, the information we have is like, it's one of those hands off, we kind of breathe a little bit over here too as well. So basically, a lot of people usually catch this monkeypox from animals in West Africa or Central Africa and import the virus to other countries. Person-to-person transmission also thankfully is not common, as it requires close contact bodily fluids such as saliva from coughing or pus from the lesions, so the risk of the general population is also low too as well. But in England, some of the 8 cases, actually, the kind of like a somewhat scary side, never actually traveled from Africa in the first place, involving that they probably got them actually just from the virus itself in England. And on top of that, too, those individuals had contact with one patient known to have traveled to Nigeria, the HSA reported on Tuesday. So basically, kind of makes it like a little bit on the scarier side, because there was like maybe an undetection side with this one, and as well. So just keep that in mind. So presumably, this is a cryptic spread from an imported cases. Biologist Angie Rasmussen of the Vaccine Infectious Disease Organization tweeted on Monday too as well. So the U.S. patient, and that was in Massachusetts, had not recently traveled to countries where the disease occurs, but had visited Canada. So it's always those Canadians over there. In addition, there's evidence the virus could be spreading through a new route, which is more on the dirty deed. What is even more bizarre is finding cases that appear to have acquired the infection via the dirty deed going over there. So a little bit more on the scarier side on this one too as well, to basically just make sure you're going to be safe. And on top of that, so kind of what is this monkeypox and what's going on with it? So basically, how threatening is it? Is it scary? Should you worry about it? In 2017, Goats and Soda interviewed 2 monkeypox experts, Annie Ramon for the University of California and Jay Hopper of the U.S. Army Medical Research, to find out. So where does it come from, monkeys? No. It's actually a little bit of a misdemeanor over there, where it actually is called a rodent pox instead. The name monkeypox came for the first time in cases of the illness in 1958, so this has actually been something that's been around for a long time too as well, which kind of calm you guys down a little bit more on that type of stuff. And actually kind of occurred in colonies of monkeys that were kept for research, kind of hence the name itself. And although monkeys aren't the major carriers, it's usually more in squirrels, rats, and other rodents. And basically they kind of also say too as well, maybe from animal bites, scratches, or contact with animal bodily fluid, and the virus can spread to other people through coughing or sneezing, as we mentioned before too as well. And a lot of those lesions from monkeypox are kind of similar to smallpox too on top of that. But they always keep on stressing and saying it doesn't really spread really well between people. Thankfully, its infection rate is very, very lower than that even of smallpox. And as you guys know, we've kind of basically made sure smallpox is mostly taken care of too as well. And basically a lot of persons sick with monkeypox spread the virus between 0 to 1 person on average. So I mean, so basically all the previous outbreaks too as well had basically burned themselves out pretty quick. So there is a little bit of worry out this. There really is some stuff, but it kind of seems like all these things are more on the outside basis. Like I said, it's kind of hard to spread. Most cases are kind of rare. We've had it in like the kind of the ecosystem for a while, and ideally it doesn't get worse. Hopefully, like fingers crossed, it doesn't get worse. And like I said, I've kind of just been seeing this a lot more popping up in like the news and news articles too. So it's like, have a breather, have a chill. Hopefully, as of right now, we should be all fine too as well when it comes to that. So basically, there's also no evidence to date that person-to-person transmissions alone can sustain monkeypox infections for the human population too. On top of that, which is kind of a nice thing to kind of note in comparison to say like the COVID. Scientists don't yet know if the rate of transmission has increased in this current outbreak. If there's enhanced transmissions, that could be one of the reasons the current outbreak appears to have spread throughout the community in 3 cities. There was also apparently already an outbreak in the United States that was actually already quickly contained. In 2003, monkeypox hitched a ride with a shipment of animals from Ghana to Illinois, where I live, of course, obviously. Several giant pouched rats and squirrels tested positive for the virus and eventually spread to prairie dogs being sold as pets in the Midwestern states too as well. 47 people caught the disease from the prairie dogs. Everyone recovered, and no one spread the disease to another person. As well as I mentioned, it's not a new virus. Thankfully, over here, it's been going around for a long, long time, too, on top of that. And even sometimes, even doctors mix the cases. It's very closely related to smallpox, too. Very, very, kind of, I guess, somewhat on the similar side, too, as well. And then whenever, kind of smallpox kind of got taken out, then a lot more of the monkeypox kind of more popped on into as well. And some people, they are saying there is a little bit of a threat with it, which is why I'm making this video to kind of somewhat calm people down that have been worried about it. But basically, they keep on saying over here that actually has somewhat increased a little bit more in like the Democratic Republic of Congo, since the 1980s, and as well as kind of just bumped up a somewhat higher ratio too, and it's mainly just because they also got rid of, like, the eradication of smallpox itself. So there is like a small growing population who don't really have the immunity to monkeypox, and when they have the outbreak, it's likely more bigger to be spread on out there because there's less people, at least in that general area, that's protected too on top of that. And they also are even saying, oh yes, that there is a chance for an outbreak being spread even more, because it also has a chance, have the virus kind of go and change itself and adjust stuff too on top of that. But even as of right now, a lot of scientists are on top of this. They're keeping a close eye on the virus. They're watching the outbreaks, and as well, if they have a chance to go and see and appear, like, change its route of transmission too as well, which could be scary depending on how it kind of goes long term. But like I said, as of right now, we're at least on a very, very smaller side. So we can kind of go and see, but even, like, the COVID actually had a chance to go and transmute and go from there, so there's always be a little bit more on the carefully side. So there's nothing really kind of that crazy, I guess, in terms of this one. It doesn't seem like it's that big of a deal or that crazy, but I do want to let you guys know there is a small chance, if you guys ever see in the news, just be kind of up to date with it, but I don't think it's something you guys should be, like, running to the grocery store and buying a bunch of food or, whatever. Just as the per usual, just make sure you guys are washing your hands, don't be, like, popping random, like, pus, or, like, dealing with random rabid squirrels, and hopefully we'll all end up being okay. But like I said, this was in the news a lot more recently, and there's been a lot more apprehension, so I wanted to make the video on it in the first place. So make sure you guys are subscribed with the notifications on as well for the brand new PlayStation 5 giveaway. Amazon links down below for the PS5 Digital Console controller, Twitter and Twitch room down below, the Webull and Coinbase down below, and all the other various stuff too as well down below. And just be a little bit careful in the first place.